A reading from the Acts of the Apostles. Then Peter stood up with the 11 and, with a loud voice, addressed them, "Fellow Jews and all foreigners now staying in Jerusalem, listen to what I have to say. Fellow Israelites, listen to what I am going to tell you about Jesus of Nazareth. God accredited him, and through him did powerful deeds and wonders and signs in your midst, as you well know. You delivered him to sinners to be crucified and killed, and in this way, the purpose of God from all times was fulfilled." Responsorial Psalm. Lord, you will show us the path of life.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
Keep me safe, O God. In you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. You are my only good.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
Lord, my allotted portion and my cup. You have made my destiny secure.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
I bless the Lord who counsels me. Even at night my heart exhorts me. I keep the Lord always before me. With him at my right hand, I shall never be shaken.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
Therefore my heart is glad, my soul rejoices. My body also dwells secure, for you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, nor let your devout one see the pit.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
You will show me the path to life. Abounding joy in your presence, the delights at your right hand forever.
Lord, you will show us the path of life.
A reading from the first letter of Peter. You call upon a Father who makes no distinction between persons, but judges according to each one's deeds. Take seriously, then, these years which you spend in a strange land. Remember that you were freed from the useless way of life of your ancestors, not with gold and silver, but with the precious blood of the Lamb without spot or blemish. God, who has known Christ before the world began, revealed him to you in the last days. Through him, you have faith in God, who raised him from the dead and glorified him, in order that you might put all your faith and hope in God. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. That same day, 2 followers of Jesus were going to Emmaus, a village 7 miles from Jerusalem, and they were talking to each other about all the things that had happened. While they were talking and debating these things, Jesus himself approached and began to accompany them, but their eyes were not able to recognize him. He asked, "What is it you are talking about?" The 2 stood still, looking sad. Then the one named Cleophas answered, "Why? It seems you are the only traveler to Jerusalem who doesn't know what has happened there these past few days." And he asked, "What is it?" They replied, "It is about Jesus of Nazareth. He was a prophet, you know, mighty in word and deed before God and the people. But the chief priests and our rulers sentenced him to death. They handed him over to be crucified. We had hoped that he would redeem Israel. It is now the 3rd day since all this took place. It is also true that some women of our group have disturbed us. When they went to the tomb at dawn, they did not find his body. And they came and told us that they had had a vision of angels who said that Jesus was alive. Some of our people went to the tomb and found everything just as the women had said, but they did not find a body in the tomb." He said to them, "How dull you are! How slow of understanding! Is the message of the prophets too difficult for you to understand? Is it not written that the Christ should suffer all this, and then enter his glory?" Then, starting with Moses and going through the prophets, he explained to them everything in the scriptures concerning himself. As they drew near the village they were heading for, Jesus made as if to go farther, but they prevailed upon him, "Stay with us, for night comes quickly. The day is now almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When they were at table, he took the bread, said a blessing, broke it, and gave each a piece. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, but he vanished out of their sight. And they said to one another, "Were not our hearts burning within us when he was talking to us on the road and explaining the scriptures?" They immediately set out and returned to Jerusalem. There, they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were greeted by these words, "Yes, it is true. The Lord is risen. He has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on the road to Emmaus and how Jesus had made himself known when he broke bread with them.
Reflection for the third Sunday of Easter. Today's readings appear to be raising vital questions pertaining to the Christian spirituality we are supposed to have professed and to be practicing in our lives. How often do we really desire participating in the Eucharistic meal? Is it an urge or prompting we discern to be occurring regularly, even daily? Or is it an empty feeling, leaving us consciously satisfied with performing the minimum compliance of attending Masses only on Sundays? If we think and say our Lord is so important to our everyday existence, if truly we believe our hearts are burning within us, then should we not be frequenting Him, to encounter His word in the breaking of the bread? In these most uncertain times, is it not time we resolve this Easter to try to start participating in the celebration of daily Mass? The two great apostles spoke to us most solemnly about the Christ and His commitment to be with us for the rest of our days. Paul focuses on the salvific aspects of the divine presence, about how He liberates and raises us from corruptibility to incorruptibility. As we struggle through the years, in a strange land, we were freed from the useless way of life, with the precious blood of the Lamb without spot or blemish. Through Him, we have faith in God, who raised Him from the dead, and glorified Him, in order that we might put all our faith and hope in God. On the other hand, Peter, referring to the words of David on the occasion of the Pentecost, stresses the fraternal aspects of the divine presence, about how our Lord is determined to accompany us in the struggle. "I saw the Lord before me at all times. He is by my side, that I may not be shaken. Therefore, my heart was glad and my tongue rejoiced. My body, too, will live in hope. Because you will not forsake me in the abode of the dead, nor allow your Holy One to experience corruption. You have made known to me the paths of life, and your presence will fill me with joy." But our participation in the Mass, our approaching and our being with the Lord, must not be a mindless participation. We must not overemphasize upon the concerns we daily face, constantly thinking we have been left alone and made distant from Him, when we have already been brought by the Spirit into His presence. From the beautiful tale of the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, we clearly learn that amid such turmoil, it is the Lord Himself who appears, and who initiates companionship. Jesus Himself approached and began to accompany them, but their eyes were not able to recognize Him. So, we must carefully consider a mindful participation, a deliberate preparedness to meet Him halfway. Then, and only then will we be able to sincerely exclaim, "Yes, it is true, the Lord is risen."